I am super excited because I have the new Charlotte Tilbury concealers here and I thought we could play with these together, do a first impression. I did pick up 2 shades, so I'm very excited. But I also wanted to touch on the new reformulated Airbrush Flawless Foundation. This has been my go-to for years. I also have this in my professional makeup kit, and I've seen a lot of people saying this foundation is heavy, it looks dry, and it just feels very heavy on the skin. So they recently did reformulate this foundation. I also have the old one. I have a bunch of them. I absolutely love this foundation, especially for bridal. But I totally understand why some people say it is heavy, it looks dry, and it just gives too much coverage. So I want to share my best tips and tricks on how I, as a makeup artist, apply it both on myself, but also on all my clients for a flawless finish that lasts all day. So when you're going to apply a foundation like this that is very heavy and also full coverage, skincare is super important. I can't stress this enough. So if your base is not good, the makeup you put on top will not look good. And when it comes to skincare, less is more, especially when you're working in layers and you want your makeup to last all day without moving around, without looking very heavy. So what I like to do is to go in with a lotion or toner that is very hydrating, but at the same time a product that really gets taken up by the skin, so it's not laying on top, it is not moving around, because that is step number 1 when it comes to a good base, that you don't have a very heavy moisturizer that is just moving around throughout the day, because a moisturizer will that if it's not taking in by the skin. So I like to use this one. This is the Anua 70 Plus Glowy Milky Toner. So what I do is that I take a little bit on a pad and I just dab it in onto my face or my client's face. So next step, I go in with a moisturizer. I really love the Embryolisse moisturizer because it also works as a primer. It is a little bit heavy, so be sure to apply a thin layer. So I let it sink into the skin while doing their eyes. Just let it sit on the skin for a while and you will definitely see a huge difference when you apply your base. And next up, a little tip: if you are super dry, I love to spray a little bit of the D'Alba First Spray Serum. And I really love it. It has oil in it as well, so it gives extra hydration. And I love to go in with this before applying the foundation. So when your skincare is all done and you are working on your eyes and your eyes are complete and you're ready to apply the foundation, next step is how you apply it and how much you apply. This has a lot to say when it comes to applying foundation, because if you apply too much, if you go in straight to your face and you just start to blend, you will have a lot of product on your face. And that is very crucial because this foundation is heavy. It is not super liquidy, so you will get a lot onto your face if you just pump it directly onto your face. So that is something I will absolutely avoid, especially on myself and my clients. I always use the back of my hand and I work from that. So that is just a no-no in my opinion, because if you pump it straight onto your face, you will have way too much product. It is also important that you use the right brush for you, especially if you're dry or super oily. Brushes works differently depending on the design, the shape of the bristle, or the desire that you want. If you want to achieve a full coverage, do you want to have a lighter coverage? That all comes down to the brushes. So I have 3 different brushes here, and these perform all different. So this one that is very dense, it is very heavy and thick. This will apply your foundation as a full coverage foundation. It will leave your skin looking flawless, but it will also apply a lot more product compared to a little less of a dense brush. This will give you medium to full coverage. It will also make your skin look flawless. But if you want to play with this, and especially if you have dry skin, I would definitely recommend to use a duo fiber brush. Duo fiber brush has 2 different layers. So you have the white bristles up here and you also have the black bristles right here. So what happens when you go into the product on the back of your hand is that the product lays on top here. So you're not getting a lot of foundation into your bristles. So when you apply it, you start where you want the most coverage and then you start to buff and blend out the foundation. And this brush will allow the product to go on and also stretch it all over your face. So one pump of this foundation will absolutely cover everything with this brush, and you will look flawless and still have the glow that is peeking through from the skincare because you did not apply too much product. So let's go ahead and apply it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take just one pump. And as you can see, it is not super liquidy. It is a very rich foundation, and I'm definitely going to use the duo brush. So I'm just going to dab a little bit on, and we're going to start with my cheek area because this is where I have the most redness. And I'm just going to start there, and then I'm going to work it into my face and around the face. I'm not being heavy on the hand just because we want a very light, even coverage. And as you can see, this brush still allows product to go on, even if I barely dabbed into it. So you can use less than one pump if you use a brush like this, and just see the difference. I have a lot more redness here compared to this side. If you have very dry skin, definitely get yourself a duo brush if you don't have it. And I'm working in circular motions. I'm stretching the foundation, and as you can see, I still have more product on the brush. Just dab where you want the most product and then start to work in circular motions and just blend it out. So this is how I like to apply this foundation. You can definitely see that I still have a lot more, so maybe half a pump would be enough. And by using this technique, your skin will still look flawless, you will get coverage, and you will not have a heavy feeling on your skin because you're not using a lot of product. The new formula is a lot more glowing, and it also is not as dry as the original formula. But even if you have dry skin and you do this technique and you have the right skincare underneath, I promise you everything will look flawless. So by using this technique, your foundation will last a lot longer as well. And especially get yourself a duo fiber brush if you don't have it. I really love this, and I feel like everybody can use this. If you use my technique and you apply a tiny amount first, you start out with that, you build up the coverage exactly where you need it, and you don't go in with a full layer on top. I feel like everybody can use this. And especially if you have moisturized your skin properly before applying this foundation. So that is my great tip. So now let's go ahead and play with these concealers. I am super excited. I picked up 2 shades because I'm also going to add this into my kit. So I wanted to try out 2 shades. So the bottles looks absolutely stunning. They have the airbrushed concealer on this side, and then they have the logo on that side. So this is number 4, Fair Medium, and it has a little bit of a pinkish undertone, which I really love for covering up darkness. And then we have number 2 right here. This is a lot more yellow, as you can see, and it is a lot brighter. Since I haven't applied any self-tan, I would definitely go in with the shade number 2. And I've seen some videos that this concealer goes a very long way. So I'm just gonna start to apply right here. And we're gonna drag it out and dab it onto the skin. So I'm very excited for this, because I'm looking for a full coverage concealer that is not making my under eye look super dry. So hopefully this will be the one. I want to be careful. I want to work in layers. I don't want to apply too much. So a great tip here as well is to work from the back of your hand, because if you apply this straight onto your face, you would definitely have a lot of product and it could be hard to blend it out, and it kind of will move, settle into fine lines and all of that. So I always work from the back of my hand with concealers. So I will go ahead and apply a little bit more to the chin. I'm really impressed by this. In the mirror, it looks absolutely flawless. It definitely did blur out my pores that I have right here. It looks more even, my skin looks great, and it covered up whatever I wanted to cover up. There's no redness, there is no blue. So the trick here now is to let it sit for a little bit. Go do anything else or do the rest of the face before you set this, because we really want the skin to warm up the concealer and we want it to set in place. So I'm going to go ahead and bronze, and we're going to use the Sunkissed Glow Bronzer. This is one of my absolutely favorite bronzers, When I'm not doing a contour, I just like to easily go in with this one and just get some warmth back in my face because I really need it. This is absolutely stunning. It is a cream to powder bronzer, so it goes very well onto your skin. I have the shade 2 medium, and I feel like this is the perfect shade for fair skin tone because it just is not too warm, but it is not super cool tone. I will also go ahead and add a little bit of the Unreal blush in the shade Rosy Glow. I'm again going back in with the Duo Fiber brush because it just applies the product so good. I just want a little bit of blush. I don't want super pinky. So I just want a little bit of blush. I don't want anything crazy. I am going to watch the Oscar after this, which I'm very excited for. Me and my sister's tradition, it has been for the past 10 years. And also there is one super talented special effect artist from Denmark that I'm following, and he's nominated. So I'm very excited to see how it goes for him. So now that the concealer has been on for a little bit, so I'm just gonna dab everything out before we set it. I'm picking up a little bit of a translucent powder. I'm gonna dab onto the puff, and then we're gonna set everything super lightly. So when it comes to the concealer, these are definitely absolutely worth it. It definitely blurred out my pore area. Even before I set it with a powder, it looked flawless. It gives you a full coverage. You only need a tiny amount. And therefore I recommend to work out from the back of your hand, because if you go in with this product and you apply it straight under your under eye, you will have a lot of product that you need to blend out. So be careful, just use a tiny amount when it comes to this. But it absolutely looks flawless, and the reason I know if a concealer is good or not is because my under eyes are usually very dry. Doesn't matter which eye cream I use, they're forever dry. So if a concealer is full coverage and it doesn't look dry under my eyes, I know that is a good one. So I'm super excited for these. I'm super excited for the launch. My under eyes look flawless. You can't see any pores. It definitely covered up everything that I wanted to cover up, as well as being a very thin formula. So you don't need to add a lot of product on top to get a full coverage. You only need a tiny amount, which is definitely a plus. I must say that I'm very pleased with this concealer. I can't wait to play with this a little bit more, and I would definitely keep you updated. I feel like this will be great for all skin type because you only need a tiny amount of the product. So as we saw from the foundation as well, if you work in thin layers and you use the right tools and you have the right skincare underneath, you can make any product work. So the combination of these two together definitely made my skin look flawless, and I'm super excited. I also have to say that I am a Charlotte Tilbury ambassador, so if you use my code, you will get 15% off your first purchase. There's always a link in the description as well, but I have purchased these for my own money. So I've definitely spent my bucks on these, and they're so worth it, and especially the concealer. I'm super impressed, and I can't wait to buy a little bit more to add into my kit as well, because bridal season just started and I'm super excited to play with these, test it out on my brides as well, and get the feedback if these actually last all day and all night. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up before you go, and if you haven't subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more beauty, fashion, and lifestyle. And without further ado, I love you guys, and I will see you pretty soon in a new video.